So you had, when this happened, there was like a massive feeding frenzy. So it was this, you have the CNN and then all the same usual suspects. They all came and kind of piled on, and they saw a narrative that they wanted to further. They didn't do any really underlying investigation. They just kind of ran with it. So what was going through your mind when all this was unfolding as a 16-year-old kid?
Well, I didn't even get the opportunity of a care to comment or a request for any of that. I found out on the bus ride back home to northern Kentucky at 3 in the morning that this was making its way around Twitter. And there were already pictures of my face photoshopped onto lunch counter protests during the civil rights movement. And I was very confused because I hadn't even said anything. I had, stood there until our bus came and I had gone home. And then you were talking about red meat, and one of the arguments that I've heard in defense of what they've done is that, well, this was an updating story. So we were giving the information we had at the time, but that conflicts with what they want to do, which is sell copies, get clicks. They want the revenue, and so it's got to be inflammatory, but they're also saying, well, we were only telling you what we knew at the time. Those two don't work together. And so what you got was a rush to judgment where they took the 60-second clip off Twitter where there were hours of footage on YouTube. They didn't bother to go look for that. They took what they had, and they wanted to be the first one with the story.
And so how did that affect your life? Because I think I remember because you were at a Covington Catholic, I think the diocese condemned you and your classmates just based off reaction to a media narrative.
Yeah. The diocese issued out a statement saying that our behavior, our actions, which were nothing besides standing there, were contrary to the church's teachings on human life, on the dignity and respect for a human person. Again, I was scratching my head, well, what did I do? And so one of the first things I had done as soon as I got home was I sent my principal an email right away. It was about a page long, but stream of consciousness, just trying to get it out as quick as possible. Please don't do anything. You haven't heard the real story. You're getting your story from, what's on CNN, Washington Post, but they went right ahead just as the media did.
So going through what you went through, was that the most difficult period of your life?
I would say so. That was one of the things too is, they kind of predetermined part of what the rest of my future is going to look like. And so it was something where I felt I had to be very resilient and still do the things I wanted to do. But, you've also got to roll with, the cards you've been given. And so I've had to adapt around that. And it's presented problems with like getting into college and other things. And it's just one of those things you've got to live with.
Yeah, it just seems to me like if you were standing there and that guy, pushed you over, you broke your arm, you would be able to sue for, no one would say anything about that. It'd be obvious, you'd be able to do it. But the damage you've suffered with your reputation was probably far more significant in your life than if you had just broken your arm that day. And yet you were able to eventually succeed, but many people are not able to. And it's unfortunate.